So we start off with the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, which is set to hold a national election conference tomorrow and Tuesday in conjunction with other stakeholders. Ahead of that conference, the IEBC is holding a pre-conference on the role of media and opinion polls. NTV's Helen Aura is keeping an eye on that for us, so let's listen in.
Commission, who is the returning officer of the presidential, when that person announces or declares, that's the final. And that is very, very important in our democracy. Thank you, Mr. MC.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sare. As always, it's refreshing to hear about the experience of Ghana. I think your concluding remarks is what is worth emphasizing on. That from time immemorial, at least since 2000, the Electoral Commission of Ghana and the media organizations have forged a very strong working relationship that involves the media to have a role in the results management and results transmission. And consistently over that period of time, having then given them, the media, that space, the results declared by the Electoral Commission of Ghana and the results by the media has always tallied. And I think that is the takeaway, as we also learned during the retreat, the high-level consultative meeting between the Kenya Media Sector Working Group and IEBC on this very particular and important issue on the role of the media in results management. I'm sure also our Electoral Commission here would have wished the situation was the same, because we learned that in Ghana, the Electoral Commission can draft regulations in the form of constitutional instruments, and after 21 days they are passed. Parliament doesn't have the luxury of sitting on them. And I'm sure that is something that we really need to learn, so that all the very progressive reform that have been proposed by IEBC in the past can have some legal effect. Let me now introduce Dr. Dan Juma, the Team Leader, Governance and Inclusive Growth at UNDP, to conclude this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Felix, Chairman, and my co-panelists and participants. Let me just begin by saying that a key highlight, I think, that you've heard from the presentations is the issue of partnerships. And this is how also the United Nations Development Program and the UN system comes in. We recognize that elections are a highly sovereign process, and therefore for the United Nations and UNDP and all the agencies to come in, there is a particular process that has to take place. Also to note, of course, the work that the UNDP does takes a more of a broader governance, democratic governance, strengthening and support to a diverse retinue of stakeholders in the democracy building and electoral system ecosystem. Typically, of course, UNDP has governance programs that have to do with democracy strengthening, institutional strengthening, civic engagement, media engagement, and of course, civil society participation. But with a particular reference to electoral assistance, what typically happens is that the member state does a formal request to the United Nations, typically addressed to the Under-Secretary General for Political Affairs, requesting for electoral assistance. The United Nations then does send needs assessment mission in light of the fact that really there has to be alignment with the support or the electoral assistance that will be provided with the needs. And so in our case, a needs assessment mission was deployed here in February, and that needs assessment mission, really its mandate is to meet the electoral management body and of course the stakeholders that are engaged, and that typically includes the media, includes, of course, civil society organizations, private sector, and of course, other engaged partners in the democratic process. And so that happened in this particular instance. Of course, because as I've noted, the need for an electoral cycle approach means that this should obviously come early for us to be able to engage,
All right, and that is a pre-conference being held by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, the IEBC, on the role of media and opinion polls as we near the general election.